So I want to jump ahead to 1986, because in 1986, not only do you make Salvador, you make Platoon. They're both released the same year.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't... Well, I have one... what does a director actually do? I know you don't just say, you know, emote more. I mean, it seems so completely detail conscious. I watched you come in here earlier when you were sitting down and having your mic check, and you were practically directing this show. I mean, you were sitting down, the lights right, you know, the whole thing, down to the microscopic detail. And yet you bring out two huge, complicated movies in the same year. I mean, was it madness, or was it...
No, it's interesting. It's a very good question. I haven't been asked that a lot. If you'll indulge me, I'll just and blow my own horn a little bit, because that was out of luck, because I had been struggling to make movies since film school. That's almost 14 years. I mean, I'm stoked from the Central American trip, and I write the script in a record time, because Boyle is a living witness, and he's my partner in that. And it's got the heat of the headlines, right? Platoon has been, for me, a tragedy, because it was written 10 years before, in 76. And it had to go into the closet because everyone loved the script and no one wanted to make it because it was considered a downer, too depressing, too realistic. They wanted Rambo, they wanted Chuck Norris movies, Missing in Action, Sylvester Stallone movies. They wanted the Vietnam of fantasy land, in a dangerous fantasy land. So I was very depressed about the truth ever coming out. So John Daly, an English independent, a gambler, a real street guy from East England, East London, he took a shot. He said, look, I read both scripts. Which one do you want to do first?
Wow.
So, you know, as a young filmmaker, this is a shot out of left field. This is beautiful. This is heaven. And I said, well, I think, if I say Platoon, I know it's going to have bad luck because we've started it up twice and it never got made. So I'm not going to say Platoon because I know it's over. It's not going to get made somehow. So Salvador. So we did Salvador in a record time, low budget, very low budget, and fraught with difficulties, many difficulties. It's a story unto itself. But then right afterward, John said, I want you to keep going and make another one. And you don't hear that very often, that kind of...
But I mean, how much rest time in between?
Not at that point. These are my first big features. I'm not going to stop for anything. I don't think, you know, I just back to back, right from the Mexico to the Philippines, and editing rooms, and the next 10 years were a blur of activity.
Yeah. Well, you made 9 movies, that's why.
9 or 10, yeah. Because I think, you know, it was like you get your shot. You know, it's like the racehorse. You go out that gate, you don't stop, man, because they might shoot you.